Hey everybody, this is Drink64 and welcome to my review for Raid the Cave. So, the Star Bomb has now begun, and with the first episode came some pretty big surprises actually. A lot of stuff came out of the park in this episode, and as for a lot of my speculations, whether they were right or not, mostly they were not right for this episode. This episode is a bit more different than I had anticipated, and while I'm kind of happy about that, at the same time, for what it was, I'm not so happy about that for some of the stuff that did happen. I'm not saying it was a bad episode, it's just what did happen in the episode was a bit really, weird to say the least, especially some of the Gothic stuff, but we'll get into that in just a minute. As for the reactions to the episode, they'll be coming at the end of the week, along with the reactions for Trickstar and the other episodes airing this week, so don't worry, they are coming, just not until probably the end of the week, maybe even the weekend. But anyway, getting into Raid the Cave, which is what I'm really going to be talking about in this video. It was a really good episode, very enjoyable, a lot of cool stuff happened in this episode. As for like Ludo stuff, we didn't see Ludo in the episode. He's basically, what's happened is Ludo has moved out of the cave that he's been situated in for quite a while, so, you know, he's escaping Star, which kind of sucks. But, of course, we knew this plan was going to fail from the very beginning. There was no chance of it ever being, especially since we have episodes later down the line about Ludo, so yeah. Overall, a lot of the stuff that happened in this episode is really cool, and getting into what happened at the beginning, we saw Buff Frog again, which I thought was really cool. I was hoping we'd see Buff Frog in this half of the season, there was no doubt we would. Wasn't expecting to see him in this one, but at the same time, I'm not really surprised that we did. It was really cool to see him. He did one star in the form of letters, which is really cool, so I don't know, Buff Frog's just really cool, still got his tadpoles reading stories to them, which is really neat. And apparently All-Star needs to defeat Ludo is her wand, which is going to come down to that final battle at the end of the season, which is really neat. Overall, basically, they go to the cave, that Wanacorn, apart from the promo that we saw, that was from this episode, which I totally didn't expect. Feels like that should have been a season finale thing, but it was so cool. The monsters as well, is actually something about this episode which I really appreciated as well, is that usually monsters in Star vs. Force of Evil are the bad guys. They attack Star, they don't like Star because she's evil. But in this episode, actually, I really appreciate the monsters that were inside the cave, because Ludo's gone now, other monsters have inhabited the cave. They seem to like weapons because it lets them tear fabric in their clothes, which is really weird. Marco gets his jacket ripped, which sucks, but he has about 1 million of them, so that's fine. But a couple of these monsters in particular are actually really interesting because they actually appreciate Star, they like her, and apparently according to them she's the rebel princess who does things her own way, and that's really cool. Which is actually where we heard Star in the promo say rebel princess does things her own way. I heard someone actually commented on the video and said they heard evil princess does things her own way, which I never heard. I don't know why you heard that, I don't know, but overall, yeah, it makes sense, and really cool to see monsters who actually appreciate Star now, which is really cool. They were interesting monsters, and I really like them. You know, especially for like background monsters, not like Buff Frog, who's actually pretty important to the story, but we have monsters who really aren't too dead important, but yeah. Not much happened with Marco in this episode. He wasn't really necessary that much. Nothing really happened, and then we got to, Star used Eclipsys spell, the spying spell, which, again, I don't think that's a good thing. I feel like using Eclipsys spells are a bad idea, just using these kind of spells. But even then, like earlier episodes, Gothic didn't seem to mind. It's like they're not really harming anyone, there are spells to counter those, so I don't know, it just feels like there's something more to all this Eclipsys stuff, and I hope it all pays off in the end. But really, getting into the Gothic stuff, so she basically tears a hole to spy on Gothic, finds him, and sees some other weird stuff, but when she eventually sees Gothic, he's eating pudding in a cave being held by Ludo, and obviously Star's just there saying, "Come with me and I can help you," and she does get through the portal and reaches through and can get him, but he doesn't want to, and which is actually understandable when you consider that, you know, Gothic is tied to the book, he can't move away from the book. Not really anyway, whoever owns the book owns Gothic, that is basically the whole premise of it, and he can't go with Star because of that, right? He can't just leave the book. Kind of wonder why she can't just, grab the book, but hey. But I think what was really weird about this was just the fact that Gothic didn't even bat an eyelid. He didn't care. When Star was just saying, we were friends, he just replies with, friends, what a dumb term or something like that. And that's not like Gothic. It really isn't. And I don't know if Ludo's maybe done something to him, or maybe it is just the book. I don't know. This really doesn't seem right at all. And especially when we get into what happened at the end of the episode, it really doesn't seem right. But a lot of this Gothic stuff, he doesn't want to go back to Star. But that's only because Ludo owns him now. So hopefully we're going to see that change later down the line. But as we get into what's happened at the end of the episode, it seems worse than it actually is. So basically, Marco convinces Star to go tell her mother everything that happened, which I feel like she should have done a long time ago, let's be honest, when Ludo was starting to become a threat, or even with Toffee. I don't even remember them actually telling Star's mother about Toffee properly. They even mentioned his name. But basically, Star goes to tell her mother about what Ludo's done, stolen Gothic and the book, and I think it's the weirdest thing about this episode, and I think it's what's really caught my interest, is their response. It's like, they don't care. They really don't. They don't seem to care about the book or Gothic, and they even refer to Gothic as the magic man. Like, it's just a book and a magic man. It doesn't matter. And they say they're going to deal with it, and they're obviously not going to deal with it. I mean, what are they actually going to do? It's weird, and I feel like there's a lot more to this that we don't actually know. Like, they're covering something up, because let's be honest, this book, according to Star, has been with their family for a very long time, so it doesn't make sense that they just want to leave it at that. They just forget about the book and Gothic is a pivotal part of making a queen. We got in the episode Page Turner, this heartfelt conversation between Gothic and Moon, Gothic stating, it's my job to protect Star and all that, and, Moon seems to be very attached to Gothic as well, it seems, so it's just like, the fact that they don't seem to care about Gothic too much really does raise some questions for me, and it really does make me question everything that's going on with Gothic and Ludo and all this, and it really just flips over my entire interpretation of what's going on right now, because this is not what I expected to come out of this episode at all, and it's just completely messed with me. It really has. It's been a very good episode and a very interesting episode, but I have to wonder why the sudden change of heart, especially from Star's mom and dad. Like, did they just realize that, oh, Ludo owns the book now, and now there's nothing we can do? Well, can't Star just steal the book back and everything will be happy dunky? I don't know. But I don't know how they're going to resolve this, because Gothic clearly doesn't want to go back, but I don't know, that's about it. Overall, I mean, this is a great episode, really enjoyable, I'm a fan, I really like it, but it's just, where are they going to go from here? Will they get Gothic back? Does Gothic even want to come back? What are Star's parents? Why do they not care all of a sudden, when clearly in Page Turner, Star's mom clearly cares about Gothic, that's a fact. And she cares about Gothic teaching Star how to be a queen, so you have to wonder why the sudden change of heart. I'm really just wondering now how they're going to deal with this, but overall, very interesting, and I don't think it's Gothic's response that's the big shock here. It's sad, yes, but, Ludo owns the book now, so that makes kind of sense. It's Star's parents that are really kind of making me question things at this point. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking about it now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Trickstar, and by Friday you guys will have the reactions up on Dailymotion and the redirect, so everything will be fine by the end of the week. But overall, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Trickstar.